Welcome back. New calls for change from Democrats and Republicans this weekend in response to last weekend's mass shooting in Milwaukee. Police say 17 people were shot just blocks from Fiserv Forum after the Bucks playoff game. They range in age from 15 to 47 years old. Police arrested 11 people and seized 11 guns.
Why on earth are we making it so easy for them to get access to guns? Because when they get access to guns, guess what they're going to do if they're a criminal? They're going to partake in criminal activity, including killing people on our streets, including shooting into crowds, including shooting up homes and striking and killing a 13-year-old, or shooting at police officers like we saw 3 law enforcement officers just earlier this year who were shot.
On Tuesday, Milwaukee's Office of Violence Prevention is hosting a community meeting to try to address the historic rise in violence. Chief Jeffrey Norman is Milwaukee's police chief, and he's joining us now. Thank you for your time, Chief.
Thank you for having me here.
You've really been pleading with the community lately to step up.
Yes.
How do you get people to engage with you who aren't already?
The big thing is to have continued conversations. Understand that we should never say that was the last time that we talk or meet. I know that our team, especially the community teams, part of all our district captains, are very engaged and continue to engage our community. No matter who you are, no matter where you live, no matter what you are a part of, we need to all have those conversations together and be in those spaces.
Are you concerned about heading into this summer with the current situation and the current staffing?
Well, I'm always concerned. I recognize that our attrition is real. I know that we are dealing with a big influx of retirements, and also that we do have officers who are choosing other careers. But that doesn't stop us from taking care of what we need to take care of in regards to our role in impacting public safety. The lift is high, and I know that we have some concerns, especially in regards to some recent incidents of officers having guns pointing at them, and thankfully that they weren't involved in any particular type of violence towards them. I know that when we had the last weekend, while there was situations going on around the officers as they're investigating the crime down there of the shootings, they ran towards it. They didn't run away from it. So they still understand the responsibility to be able to say that we have a role in this, and we're going to do our work. We're going to handle our, responsibilities in a professional manner, a proactive manner, even in spite of the challenges that we do have.
How are you telling your officers to enforce the curfew for those who are under 17?
Isn't it important to be able to have the right type of attitude when dealing with something that's sensitive? Yes, we have a curfew that's always been a part of me. I've been on the job for 26 years. There's no new ordinance being created. But we need to recognize how to approach it when you are bringing these juveniles home to their parents, because the expectation is, yes, we're going to enforce the curfew law. We're going to enforce the parental responsibility. But we don't have to be unprofessional about it, to understand that we want to create buy-in from the standpoint, we're doing this for your own good. There's nothing out here after these times that we have established that you should be a part of. You need to be home. You need to be safe. So we're seeing kids involved in auto thefts or unfortunate acts of violence, whether they're the participants or they are the recipients. In that prior weekend, we had a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old shot on a Friday night. That's unacceptable. And we need to make sure that we're doing our part in regards to making sure that our kids are safe in our city.
I'm interested in what you have to say about what a consultant for MPS is proposing, Tyrone Dumas. He wants a safety plan that includes security checkpoints, a martial law curfew from Memorial Day to Labor Day, limited hours of gun and liquor sales. It's extreme, but is that what it's going to take?
So I know Tyrone well. In fact, we talk frequently, and I hear his frustration. So what you're reading there is a concerned citizen who wants to see that we are putting all efforts forth to make sure that we have a safe city. And that is where MPD plays their role in making sure there's responsiveness in regards to the gun, violence, the reckless driving. I mean, just recently we put out a new tow policy with the support of the FPC and the mayor. I know that we have, shot spotters where we're going after those who are carrying guns. We're being proactive for those who are trying to buy guns, who are prohibited. And we get those records and we follow up and we say, we're watching you. Because it's important for us to be able to say, we're firing all cylinders.
You're doing these things, but there was a mass shooting last weekend. Mm-hmm. Do you think security checkpoints could be the answer. Do you want to see that downtown?
I will say we'll always be part of the conversation in regards to what those efforts are, because those are bigger than just MPD or Milwaukee Police Department. You're talking about collaboration between elected officials. You're talking about business community, and being at the table to see what those solutions look like and be a part of that conversation and see what that lift is. I know there's a lot of things being thrown about, but we want to know what is going to be the long term, the sustainability of it, and also who is supporting it. So I know there's a lot of different solutions being thrown around. MPD is committed to be part of those conversations, but we're not the only one to decide on what happens.
You're not the one to decide, but you're out on the streets every day, so surely you have an opinion on it.
I have an opinion in regards to that. I'm willing to be part of anything that will help make our community safer. I'm always in every conversation that I'm invited to be able to have those conversations like, so what is your role in regards to the safety of that particular area? You talk about security checkpoints. In my understanding, in other cities, security checkpoints are usually manned by security officers, not police. So there is a role that we have in that discussion, but we're not the ultimate decider in regards to what and how those resources are being utilized and how they're being funded.
Well, we are wishing you the best of luck, Chief. Thank you for making time for us.
Thank you.
Coming up, the national restaurant industry says it's frustrated as hell. A Wisconsin restaurant owner who just returned from Capitol Hill is standing by to explain why.